உன்னை சரணடைந்தேன் ஓம்காரி கௌரி உன்னை சரணடைந்தேன் ஓம்காரி கௌரி உன்னை சரணடைந்தேன் ஓம்காரி கௌரி என்னை காத்தருள் ஏகாம்பரேஸ்வரி உன்னை சரணடைந்தேன் ஓம்காரி கௌரி என்னை காத்தருள் ஏகாம்பரேஸ்வரி உன்னை சரணடைந்தேன் ஓம்காரி கௌரி என்னை காத்தருள்.
Namaskaram, Sahana.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, Prasid. Namaskaram, Sai Pranav. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to join you guys today.
Yep, we're so glad to have you, especially with your busy junior schedule. You know, obviously there's a lot of work to be done, but thank you for taking the time to come on the show.
Yeah, of course. I'm so excited to be doing this with you guys.
So yeah, it's been a while. So how have you been? How with COVID and everything, it's pretty tough. So how have you been doing?
Yeah, I've been doing pretty good. It's a little, it's very interesting getting used to a normal routine with, accounting for distance learning. But, just getting used to it, taking it one day at a time. How are you guys?
We're doing pretty well.
Yeah, I'd say we're doing pretty okay. Well, let's jump right into it, I guess. Sahana, can you tell us about your gurus, who they are, experiences with your gurus, and just an overall early learning perspective?
Yeah, definitely. So I was actually born in Chennai. So I lived there until I was around 5 years old. So I actually started learning from this mommy who just lived in the same flat as us. So I think she was like 2 floors above us. So I would go there, just learn like basic, let's say some, bhajans, those type of songs. Not too much, actual Carnatic Kritis, Geetams or anything.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I started. I think I was about maybe 3 or 4. And later, after we moved flats, I learned from another mama. Actually, I used to call him Mottamadi Mama because we would always take class on his Mottamadi. It was really fun. But yeah, again, just, Sadly Varsay, Janta Varsay, nothing too big. And then after we moved here, I started learning from Vinod Krishnan, so Vinod uncle, and I was doing some group lessons with him up until around 2013, 2014. And actually when we attended the Carnatic Star competition here in 2014 is when we met Sharma uncle, Dr. Ranganatha Sharma. He was my judge in the Varnam competition, actually. And my mom was talking to him after the competition, after his concert. Actually, he had a concert here. And he was saying, your daughter has a good voice. And my mom was like, oh, that'd be great if we could learn from her. So that summer we went to India and I went to, visit their house in Madurai. And I sang for Mohan Auntie. That's so Dr. Ranganatha Sharma, Dr. Mohana Sharma. Those are my gurus. I sang for them in Madurai. This is really bad Natya Kriti. I don't even know how they said they would take me as their student, but that's kind of how it started. And when we came back, I started Skype lessons that fall, and I've been learning from them since then. So
Yeah, it's really neat, especially like, going to India and learning like from your teachers, and especially like living in Minnesota and living from India now. That's like, long distance is really tough. So
yeah, it's kind of hard to do, over Skype. It's not really the same as in person, but I've learned a lot in my one-on-one lessons. So every time I see them in Chennai, or sometimes they'll come here and stay for a month just so we can have that one-on-one learning. We just make the most of it.
And now you mentioned that, one-on-one classes when they're here for about a month. So I believe you did mention to me once a while ago saying that your guru stayed with you guys during this COVID time. So tell us a little bit about that. That must have been a really nice
experience. It was just amazing. Such a blessing to have that time. So Mohan Auntie actually came here March 3rd. So she was going to stay for a month and was going to leave at the end of March because that's when my spring break was. So she came here just with plans of preparing. I was planning to have my Arangetram actually last month. It would have been around a month ago from now. So she had come here and she was gonna, help me prepare for that and get everything set. And then obviously flight restrictions, more COVID cases reported, and she wasn't able to go back. So she was actually here until June, early June, second week of June, I believe. So definitely not what was expected. It was hard for her, to be away from her family, but it was so amazing. I mean, that's something that, not a lot of people get, that type, that one-on-one time with their gurus. And I learned so much from her. I mean, one thing I love about Mohan Auntie and Sharma Uncle, they both have their doctorates, in music, and they have so much knowledge, and their repertoire is just so vast, and they don't hold anything back. They always teach. I learned so much about theory, music, about their gurus, it was a wonderful experience. Definitely something I will forever cherish. So
Wonderful, amazing. So you were talking about how you were going to have your outing in August. Well,
yeah.
of course that didn't happen, but you did have a couple of kacheris in August. I believe your first one was in August, sometime in August, right? Can you tell us about that experience and the nerves you were feeling and the stress and just some experiences from that learning for that kacheri?
Yeah, definitely. So I started seriously doing Manodharmam last year, maybe I think after summer. So started fall. I mean, I've sung some basic alapanas and done some swarams in class for fun,
Right,
but that's when I seriously started training for it. So I hadn't really done much, and the first concert that I did was a 30-minute concert. For Amritavarshini, that's our school, our music school is called Amritavarshini. So, every month we'd have 2 concerts by a junior student and like a senior student. So that was the first concert I had, just 30 minutes. I was definitely nervous because one thing that was very helpful was that time with Mohan Auntie. If I hadn't had that, I honestly don't know how I was going to prepare for my Arangetram with just that 1 month. I mean, it's crazy to think about now, but that definitely helped me a lot. And of course, I was nervous. I'm not very good with stages, right? It's a little inconvenient being, a Carnatic musician and needing to perform. But the fact that it was online definitely made a difference because, you can't see anyone. And it's like, you can really just get into your music and just feel your music and just like you singing to yourself. So it was very nerve-wracking for sure, first time singing any type of Manodharmam, but having it be, streamed made it a lot easier for me.
Yeah. It definitely makes sense, especially with the whole online thing where you can just get down to yourself in a kacheri and not have to worry about, what list you need, what list for what particular type of crowd or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I also had the pleasure of listening to one of those concerts, and it was really well executed. So great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So during the time that Mohan Auntie was actually in your living with you in your house, were there any specific instances that were challenging? I mean, having your guru in your house, one, that's a great thing to have. At the same time, it's kind of scary, but could you tell us I guess explain about it?
So of course, you're right. It was, of course, I mean, whatever I'm about to say does not mean that I'm not grateful or thankful for the time I had to spend with Mohan Auntie, but it's definitely a little intimidating to have your guru stay with you and watch you in a setting outside of formal party class. I mean, Mohan Auntie and I we've always had a great bond relationship. She always knows how I'm feeling. She can sense my mood over Skype call, so I'm very comfortable around her, but it was just very different. What can I say? At the beginning, definitely, I just sing around my house all the time. I'm walking, I'm singing random things. You can't ask me if it's in talam or ragam, whatever. And I kind of stopped that a little bit because I'm like, well, my guru is here listening to me, watching me. Another thing that was tough is it was, we were singing like 4 or 5 hours every day because she was so enthusiastic to teach me. I was ready to learn all of it. And it was also, AP times, and it was a little tough with that, trying to make sure that I'm on top of everything at school. So there were some times where I would get a little overwhelmed or stressed out, but I would just tell Auntie like, hey, can we just, go easy today and, maybe just do like one kriti or sing some Manodharmam and leave it at that. And, she was totally fine with it because she was also teaching Aditya. Aditya is my younger brother. He's also learning from them. So she would, teach him. So as tough as it was, she was very understanding about it. And it was really easy to go about it because of that.
Yeah, amazing. That bond must be really strong for that understanding between both of you.
Yeah, I mean, it was so weird after she left. I feel like I felt like I had to call her and talk to her every day. She knew what was going on in my life with my friends. She knew, she just became part of our family. She was before too, but like, integral part.
That's so sweet.
Right.
You were talking about, you mentioned your little brother Aditya, which he, by the way, is a great young musician starting to learn a lot of new things. He's doing really great. Can you tell us about that brother-sister bond with relating to music and how you guys can relate through music? How do you practice together? Do you do stuff with him like that? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, definitely. I've always told my mom, I wish that I had, an older sibling or someone who would be able to guide me with Carnatic music because no one, my parents don't sing, some distant relatives sing Carnatic music, or even if they do, it's usually cinema songs and not actual Carnatic classical music. So I love helping Aditya with water. I'm not sure if he likes getting help from me. He's always telling me I'm very strict with him, which, I probably am, but I love helping him. I want him to get that early understanding of everything. So, I know for me, especially starting Manodharmam was I was very scared. Like it was a long time before I would just actually sing freely. I would always be like, Auntie, she's like, okay, just the other phrase. I mean, sing some phrases. And I'd be like, I don't know any phrases. She's like, you've sang this ragam so many times. Yes, you do. So there was that block a little bit, that mental block. And it took me a while to get over that. So, I'll be like, Aditya, just sing right now. Sing some phrases in Mohanam. If he's learning Mohanam, Varnam, and I love helping with that. We definitely do relate. He's also learning Carnatic violin. And I love, playing videos. Whenever I see videos of concerts or any, violin concerts or music concerts, I'm always like, Aditya, sit with me. Let's identify the ragam. So it's definitely fun. We do bond over that since my parents do know a little bit, but, we like to discuss Carnatic things. So we definitely do have that type of relationship. Thank you.
Awesome.
So yeah, that sibling bond is a really special thing, especially you're almost headed to college, and so that limited time that you have to share that bond with your brother is very special.
Definitely, yeah.
So yeah, continuing on with bonds, I mean, obviously you explained a lot about you and Mohan Auntie having that particular bond. So tell us about the bond you had with Rangana Sharma sir. So I know it's not like the same as having Mohan Auntie living in your house, but I mean, you gotta give respect to your other guru too, right?
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. Yeah. Definitely when Sharma uncle has stayed with us when he's had some concerts in some concerts and everything in MN. So, both of them, of course, when I say Mohan Auntie is part of our family, their whole family is just so we have such an amazing relationship with them. So, my relationship with Sharma sir, it's the same. I mean, he's so loving, so caring, so encouraging. He's always telling me he takes time. I know he's very busy. He's a performing artist, but he still takes time to listen to my recordings and he'll personally send me messages like, wow, Sahaana, you did good. Maybe do this next time, but you did amazing. It's so nice to see your progress, which is so amazing and so thoughtful. Definitely, I can say at first I was a little more intimidated when Sharma uncle was staying here with us for a month. He would, obviously he was taking my classes in person. So he would sit down, he'd be like, okay, let's sing some Begada Manodarnam. I was like, oh my gosh, he's an artist, Of course they're my gurus and we're very close, but he's also my guru, and that's, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
it was a little intimidating.
That
And,
makes sense.
I always, listen to a recording like 3-4 times before I send it to him. I'm like, is this Sharma sir approved, Sharma sir level? But, of course, he's very kind and caring. They've both encouraged me so much. So it's definitely the same type. And of course, I should mention their kids, Swati Akka and Shravananna. They have also taken classes for me. Swati Akka, their whole family has taught me, and I feel like I'm just part of their family. There's always been instances where Mohan auntie isn't able to take my class, so Swati Akka will take it, and they teach me so well. They take so much time and effort into teaching me. So the same goes for all of them, that whole family for sure.
Amazing, amazing. So outside of Carnatic music, I know you do a lot of stuff. You're a very busy person. Can you tell us about some stuff that you do outside Carnatic music, like hobbies or stuff like clubs or stuff that you're interested in?
Yeah, definitely. So, staying on just the music realm, I do play the piano. I've been playing it for, gotta think about this, like 8 years. Definitely something I enjoy. I used to be a lot more serious with playing it, definitely, before I, started to get busier in school and everything, but I still do it. It's definitely therapy. Music is therapy for me, for sure. Part 2, of course. I love listening to songs. I love listening to, English, English songs, Bollywood songs, any kind of cinema songs.
Western.
Yeah, Western music, all kinds of music, love listening to it. At school, I am part of the robotics team. I'm in like an all-girls FTC team. This is our third year, so we're still kind of a rookie team. That's something that I put a lot of my time into because I really enjoy it. I learn a lot through that, hands-on experiences. I went into it knowing nothing, and now I know so much. I'm also doing an internship at IAM, which is India Association of Minnesota, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Just started it this summer, but I've made so many connections, met so many new people, like-minded people, and I, love the idea and concept of like bridging the gap between the Asian American, both aspects of that life. We're Indians, but we're living in America, so sometimes there's always that divide. And what I love about IAM is how they, work to kind of, bridge the gap for teens and youth. Yeah. So other things I like to do, I really do enjoy reading. I don't get a lot of time to sit down and read outside of school and books I have to read then. I like going on bike rides with Aditya. I might be missing a few things. I like playing the guitar. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for what I do in my free time. Yeah.
Wow.
That's really amazing.
Thank you.
உன்னை சரணடைந்தேன் ஓம்காரி கௌரி உன்னை சரண